Okay, so we're officially recording now because I do not want you to miss the incredible nuggets from these leaders that are going to be sharing today. So Donna, I am thrilled and excited to hear what you're going to share with the team. So I'm going to hand it over to you, my friend.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, we're having like a really bad storm right now, and I live in the country. So sometimes I might disappear because my Wi-Fi just goes out. It is what it is. But I'm sorry I didn't see your live, Kristen, because we are really, truly fired up about the same thing. And it is the personal definition of success. And last week, Kristen and I, we've been doing this workshop and coaching, and we were asked what our personal definition was, and to really dig deep about what it means to us. And it took a while to sit and really come up with 7 to 10 things. That was a lot. And it had me thinking, if somebody was to ask me today or ask you today, like, what was your last year successful? Was your last year of work successful? Was your last company successful? And what would you say? And I couldn't answer it because before I came to Bravenly, my previous company, I was living someone else's definition of success. And I realized that my definition had changed from my first company to my second company. And so, one thing that's different is like what Carly was saying, everyone's definition is a little bit different. But when someone starts a business or gets a new job, the first thing that we do look at is the success. And in this type of business, it's a little crazy because usually that definition is, how much money are they making? What rank are they? How many times have they been on stage holding that cardboard check, that bouquet of flowers, that trophy, and all those things? And you might even, I know when I even came over to Bravenly, like I was 48 hours in. Are you seeing success now? Like people get right up in your face and they want to know, how's that side gig going? Are you making money yet? Are you a rank yet? And that's when I realized that, everybody's definition is so different. I honestly couldn't imagine somebody asking my husband when he switches jobs, like, hey, how much money you making now? Like, it takes some really big kahunas to ask these questions in this network marketing space. And that's when I truly started thinking about that question, like, whose definition did I have? And I spent the last 2 years with somebody else's definition. I was promoting off this hype and edification and what rank people were and how much money they made and like standing in line to take pictures with people just because you're in this crazy proximity. And like when you're talking to the other 80% of people, the moms out there that just want to make a car payment or make a credit card payment or get their kids into some activities or have that $400 emergency fund that most Americans do not have. They honestly don't care about that. I'm going to say that sparkly unicorn triple fart rank. Like they really don't care, because then when you think about those people that are on stage, you may think about what they had to do to get there. And those people might actually be pretty miserable because it sucked the life out of them and everyone around them, because they may have been having to do toxic culture, that hustle stuff that a lot of MLMs do. They may have been up till 3 a.m. begging their team at end of month to place orders. And really, is that success? And that ickiness was not success to me. And, I thought about when I first dipped my toes into network marketing in 2017. I actually came in just looking for some specific supplements. I was recovering my son from autism at that time, and I just wanted a discount. And when I saw his body healing and I saw this recovery happening, I really just wanted to share it with people walking this path too in the special needs world, or as we like to call it, welcome to Holland. I made money and it was great. I mean, I made it to the top 1%, but at the same time, the part that gave me the most success was, I'm not going to cry, that first message from a mom saying my 10-year-old said mom for the first time. And like that feeling is what truly gave me success. It had nothing to do with what rank I was or how much money I was making. And don't get me wrong, money is not a bad thing, and it should not be a taboo subject. And we should be able to talk freely about it, because a lot of us have come here for that financial part too. And I always like to say, money in the hands of the right people with good intentions is really not a bad thing. And it always brings me back to Ricky's story like 2 weeks ago, and he was talking about his Lamborghini. And it made me realize that we have such a great space here with such humble leadership, and that we are meeting people exactly where they are in this journey and not defining their success as one thing or another. Because, when you are doing that with somebody else's definition, it's not really true to yourself. So don't lose sight of what's truly important to you. Stop worrying about what other people think. Don't get caught up in trying to fit into somebody else's mold of success. This is your journey. And there's a couple things that I want to point out that we did when we broke this down. And one of the things was, in the coaching, it said, you want to be able to answer this question. I know I am being successful when ... And that just means, what kind of business do you want to create for your vision? And when your business results fall into place, you will sit and truly think about what that personal vision is. And the two things that you want to focus on are quality of life. And what does that look like? So what does your ideal schedule look like? What is most important to you physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, personally, professionally? What does freedom look like to you? What are the most important values in your life? Those kind of things are what is going to define success. And then the other thing is, how do you want to feel about yourself? How do you want to feel about yourself in your business and also personally? And when I made that list of 7 to 10 things, that sparkly triple unicorn fart rank wasn't part of it. That amount of money was not part of it. My list had so many other things in it that had nothing to do with it. And it was more or less about how I was feeling and what my quality of life was. So do yourself a favor, sit down, sit quietly, think about that definition of success. Because if you don't map out your definition of success, you're in danger of waking up and living someone else's. And that's what I had done for the past 2 years. And I am so grateful that I am here now, because I can actually have those feely good feelings all the time now, knowing I'm doing this truly from the heart and with this servant leadership. So that is all I wanted to say. And Kristen and I are just going to keep pushing this over and over again, because we are on fire with this. So thank you for letting me share, Carly.
Wow. That was so good. You guys, again, I love the heart of that. And I think this is this messaging speaks to so many people who are getting caught in that trap of performance and having to, level up to somebody else's vision. And I'm just going to say here, some people, their personalities are rank motivated, right? Glenn wants triply sparkly rainbow fart rank. He wants it, you guys, so bad. And so the truth is that's okay. If that's how you're wired and you have this, and the rank is something that you're going for, no shame in that. But I feel like a lot of times what happens is that that's not our desire. That's not our goal. And so that's okay for the people that, want that. And I know you don't really want it, but you know what I'm saying, Glenn. But, it's like, if you are truly driven for those things, don't be ashamed. That's completely okay. But if that's not you, you need to be authentic to yourself. Okay. Because we're all wired different. I was like, I'm not usually I'm not the person that's like, oh, there's a prize, I'm going to go for it. That's not a driver. But I know for other people, they're like, ooh, I can get that. And it's, we got to look at our drivers, what our heart is, and just realize at the end of the day, if you're being true and authentic to yourself, then that's what's going to create the most incredible business for you with alignment. And so, Donna, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I cannot wait to hear more from you as you guys kind of continue down this journey of discovering what it is that sets your souls on fire, right? All right. So I am so excited, you guys. I've got Stacy on here. Stacy, like I've had her share before. She is like one of my, like, those people that you've always looked up to in the industry because they just bring the fire. And since I've met this girl, I've just thought the world of her and who she is as a leader. And so the fact that she's gonna on here and share is just gonna like makes me so excited. So anyway, Stacy, do you want to go ahead and share with the team?
You're so sweet. Thank you. I'm like nervous because I feel like that's a big show to come next to, but you guys are all bringing the fire today. So, Carly said something. I wasn't really sure what I was going to share about. I kind of had an idea, but I wasn't sure how to like bridge it with what was already shared. And Carly, you said, you have to think about how to stand out in this industry. And I think that's like a perfect segue into what I wanted to share today. And it kind of first got me thinking, I have kind of always leaned on social media. And I think that we all kind of look at this industry as, we share on social media, right? And we absolutely do that because social media is a really, I don't want to say easy because it's definitely not easy, but it's a very simple way to hit a lot of people. But just recently, I was kind of thinking outside of the box, kind of thinking about ways to essentially stand out, like what Carly said. And what I've been doing lately is kind of finding other ways to essentially network and market myself, right? We are network marketers. And I had to really think about that. And I had to ask myself, okay, am I doing all of the things that, again, are of course authentic and true to me, but am I doing all the things to really treat my business like a business and network with as many people as I know and as many people as I can and finding new people, right? That's the whole essence of networking. And then also marketing myself in ways where I'm not 100% just relying on or leaning on social media. Now, again, this isn't to say like social media is not important. I've always looked at social media as essentially our business card, right? It's our virtual business card. Like, are we open for business or are we closed for business, right? But when I got started in this industry, I think it was 7 years ago now, I've been with a couple companies. My first company, I never sampled. I literally never sent a single sample with that company. I just leaned on the money back guarantee. I leaned on the posture. I was like, listen, these products are amazing. Just buy them. We got a money back guarantee, like 3, 2, 1, done. Right. And that worked. Okay. That worked. Then my second company, it was all about sampling. So of course I leaned into that system, but truth to be told, I've had a little PTSD from that level of sampling that we did there. And I don't know if you guys can relate, if you've been with other companies, if you've sampled, what your experience has been. So essentially when I came over here to Bravenly, I thought, okay, I am choosing to not sample with this company. I am not going to sample. Like I just put my foot down and I was like, no. So these last 6 months since I've been here, I've been kind of going back to that original system of like, posture, what we have is amazing. We have a money back guarantee. You're going to love the products. These are not quick fix products. You don't need a sample. Trust me and do that. And that works. That still works. And I still say that to people. But I started thinking about like, okay, our products, you guys, I mean, I've tried, I feel like every supplement under the sun. We have the best tasting products there are. Like, do you guys not agree? Amen. Throw a thumbs up in the chat if you agree with me. I am blown away at how we are able to take such clean ingredients that are so effective and also make them taste good. Like I always feel like you have to like kind of give up one of those things, right? And I'm like, man, they really freaking nailed that. We have the best ingredients that taste amazing. So I started thinking, I need to really go back to some sampling and I need to do it in a way for me that's strategic. And I know I have so many people in my network that are probably still unaware that I made a switch, maybe unfamiliar with why these are different or how these products are different. And I thought, okay, this is how I'm going to stand out. I'm going to write handwritten letters and just mail samples to people. And I know it's time consuming, but how nice is it with all the junk mail that we get, all the bills that we get, all the BS that we get in our mailbox? How nice is it to get a cute little letter with handwritten, maybe a sticker on there and some free samples, right? It's like sort through all the junk and it's like, oh my gosh, I got a present in the mail, right? This is so fun. So that's what I've been doing. I'm actually sitting here doing it right now. I'll even read you guys what I wrote on this one. It's like, hey, Mandy, happy new year. Cheers to health, happiness, and new beginnings. I'm loving this new holistic wellness line, and I know you will too. Enjoy these samples on me, and I appreciate you. Love, Stacy. And then on the back, I just put a little blurb on the two. I'm sending 1 stick of Gold and 1 stick of Rush. And I just said with Gold, it crushes cravings, boosts fat loss, supports healthy defensive immunity, and combats inflammation. Try it in your coffee. Yummy. And then for Rush, I said formulated with methylated vitamins. It's low caffeine, has adrenal support. You can drink it hot or cold, or just dump it in your mouth like a pixie stick. LOL. And I'm just taping them on the back. I got that like cute washi tape, and I'm taping them on the back, and I'm just sending them out to anyone who I kind of like know maybe isn't on social media as much, maybe has been a customer in the past, but I haven't really been able to connect with them. And I'm also trying to think outside of the box too. So I have friends that are involved in nutrition, people that work at gyms, personal trainers. There's so many people that can benefit from these products on a personal level, but also know a ton of people in industries that revolve around health and wellness. So I'm kind of looking at this as sorry, I'm getting a phone call. Bye, Mom. Talk to you later, Mom. My mom's one of the ones that I just actually sampled last night too. She's funny. Side note, you guys, if you have, oh my gosh, stop calling Mom. What the heck? If you're frustrated at your family members that have still not become customers of yours, don't worry, because my mom usually takes 2 years to actually get on board with anything that I'm doing. So I can relate. But anyways, so I just wanted to share that. And I'm just excited, you guys, we really do have it all here. And I just want to get the products in as many people's hands as possible. And so this is my new way of doing it.
I love that. Thank you so much, Stacy. And if you saw the comments, people were like, yes, Stacy, you bring the fire. We love it when you share. And those are really great tips, being able to stand out that's so in customer service. And people are used to having low expectations because things disappoint us. So when we can go above and beyond, and then we have these products that, like you said, they taste wonderful. They're effective. And I get you. Stacy and I came from a company where we sampled, and you know what? The samples tasted horrible. They were so disgusting. Yeah. What's so funny is that we were able to literally really build a lot from the samples. It was a numbers thing. We're like, okay, if we sample 30 of these, maybe somebody will buy, right? But it's one of those things where, the truth is that as you are, getting these products in people's hands, they're going to be pleasantly surprised. They're going to be like, oh, when's the last time you've taken a nutritional supplement? They're like, dang, this is delicious. I mean, honestly, that's how I feel about the Gold, you guys. I'm like, this is really good. I'm taking it at night when I'm like, I really want ice cream and I really want to go eat leftover cinnamon rolls from my kids, breakfast. I'll take Gold, and it just at night kills my cravings. I'm ready for bed. But anyway, you guys, getting products. Oops, I'm gonna have to mute someone. Go down. Okay. So getting these products in people's hands is really powerful, and doing it with the note. I love that, you guys. I think that's so brilliant. So thank you so much for that.
More thing. Sorry, I just remembered.
Yeah, please.
So something else I found, you guys, one of the reasons why I had so much PTSD with sampling with my last company is because there was a lot of troubleshooting with those products. And it almost for me was it wasn't worth all of the energy and the troubleshooting. And so something that I did learn though through that experience was painting a picture, creating the right expectations around things is very important. And then also being able to handle kind of whatever feedback you get. People are always looking for us to feel like they're not like the exception or that they're normal, right? So I always like to say, hey, I'm popping some samples in the mail. I'm so excited for you to taste them. I just want to let you know these products are not quick fix products. You know, don't expect to have some crazy transformation in a day, right? Like almost like set yourself up so that you don't get certain objections up front, like, oh yeah, it tasted good, but I didn't lose 5 pounds overnight, so therefore it doesn't work for me, right? But I just say, hey, I'm loving these products. They're not quick fix products. They're not hype based product. These are holistic wellness products that continue to get better over time. But I'm just loving them so much that I wanted to give you a little taste just so you can experience it for a day. Obviously, you know, if you're looking to combat any kind of goals or you have any intentions for the new year, you know, you're really going to want to set yourself up for more than just a one-day experience, right? But you kind of put that out there so that no matter what their feedback is, you've kind of already like handled that. And then for people that do say like, oh, you know, like there's always that person that like is, in my mind, is like on the moon and they're like, oh, I don't know if I like the taste. I mean, I actually haven't had any of that feedback with these products, which is why I'm so confident with the sampling. But you can just, you know we've got our group. It's like, oh my gosh, girl, like, I'm not sure how you made it, but have you seen all the different ways that you can actually make that? You know, I add the gold to my coffee, but I'm seeing people like bake with it. I'm seeing people add it to smoothies. And so then you can already go into that group and, kind of handle those accordingly. So I just wanted to add that. Thanks, Carly.
I love that. I love that she's, already addressing things before they even take them. And I think that that's one way that we're different. We could sell a lot of product by hyping stuff up and saying, you're going to lose 15 pounds in 2 days. We could do that if we wanted. It would sell a lot of product, but you know what? We would lose our credibility. You know what I mean? People wouldn't trust us. And there wouldn't be the reorder rate that we have. So I think it's important that we do create realistic expectations for what these do. But, being here for now 7+ months and seeing the transformations, the stuff works. It works for the long term. It works. And I really am excited about that. And another thing that Stacy brought up, and Glenn, at the end, I'm going to have Cassandra share here in a bit, but I do want to circle back and maybe Glenn can share a little bit about this. But she did mention alternative ways of reaching out to people, right? Alternative ways of connecting with people that aren't just social media based. And I think that in today's society, we need to look at that, because here's the thing. What happened in 2008, you guys? The economy struggled and network marketing boomed. You know how many people became millionaires on Wraps? Like, I bought like 3,000 of those. No, seriously, though, I think I bought them like 8 times and I never ever had my stomach shrink. It was really a bummer. So, but with that said, it's like literally millionaires were formed during that time because it was an economy where people were looking for solutions. And we are stepping into something very similar to that, you guys. And network marketing is going to boom, right? It's going to boom, but it's not just going to be the moms that we're friends with on social media. Cause like right now it's like, okay, existing network marketers and then like our mom friends who are like at home with the babies, right? That traditionally is what you see, but that's not what it's going to be. It's going to be something where we're going to have business professionals, real estate agents, doctors, teachers. We signed a doctor yesterday into our team, which is really exciting. But I'm just saying that these are going to be alternative people than what we're used to seeing in network marketing, because our culture is something where we're going to be attracting those people. So what is, like, I'm not saying do your thing on social media, do it, but also realize that there's other ways to connect with people, whether it's a handwritten note, or Glenn did an event a couple days ago. And I at the end of this, Glenn, if you're willing to share, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your event. And, he loves that. Like, it sets his soul on fire. I'm like, friend, if you love that, getting in front of the people and speaking, not everybody does, but if you do, you're meant to do that. You're meant to have that person-to-person connectivity. So I think it's really important that we keep in mind that there's alternative ways to build this. And I love that our company doesn't try to micromanage how we do it. And that's really special. So if you're like, I want to do, heck, I don't care. Like, people are doing the sip and socials, they're doing home parties. That's not my thing. Okay. It's not, I'm social media girl. Okay. I'm just going to be real. But so many people, that is how they thrive. That's how they build the connections. And you know what? Do that. Find those alternative ways. Go. I know Stacy, you and I were chatting, and she's like, she'll go connect with people over lunch. She'll have a lunch date with them. I love that. I love that. You guys, there's so much power in that in-person connectivity. So again, thinking outside the box, you guys, like, there's a lot of different ways to do this. So Cass, I don't know, was going to have you share. Are you able to unmute now? Perfect.
Yep. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So I wanted to share as like, Carly, can I please share? Because I don't know if you guys saw, but there's a 5-day momentum summit that's online. It's a free 5-day with some of the top network marketing professionals, leaders in the industry, and they're just bringing the fire. And I always like to fill my cup with anything that I can. So I was like, well, why not? And it's free. So I was listening to this yesterday, in the first 10 minutes, I'm just like, oh my God, this is so good. So, and this really just kind of goes right into what you were just talking about, like the recession, right? The economy, things are going on. And I think everybody can relate that it's in the last even few years, it's been like, is the world going to end? Like what's going on? Like, so many, it's just been like such a roller coaster. And I find a lot of times, even in my head, it's like, you have to like fight the battle of getting out of that mindset, right? Like, I don't recommend watching the news or anything like that, but it is a common topic. And obviously, a lot of people aren't doing good right now. And obviously we have a solution. But what I can find that I've struggled with personally is you can kind of get in that mindset of maybe you're not really happy with where you're at right now. And you can almost start playing the blame game, right? Like, and that negative mindset, will dictate your actions, right? So how do you, so essentially this leader went through and kind of just shared the frameworks. I'm literally going to read from my notes of how to get out of that so you don't waste your day doing nothing because your mindset wasn't good. And they made it very clear is motivation will die, guys. It will die. It's not going to be every day. And if you just tell yourself, instead of saying that this is going to be easy, it's going to be hard, at least you're setting yourself up for a reality and what this is going to be. It's not going to be easy every day. Being an entrepreneur is not easy. Doesn't matter what your goals are. So first they had us kind of go through and just, make the commitment. I'm not going to make any more excuses because we all can, make excuses, right? Doesn't matter what it is. And then she kind of went into how much of your circumstances can you control? The only thing you cannot control what's going on in the world. You cannot control like anything, right? You cannot control other people. You cannot control the economy. You cannot control someone says yes or no, right? But what you can control is your own personal action of what you do day in and day out. And then the thoughts of how you react to others. You have control over that. So number one, take ownership in your life and your business. You do have full control over that. And stop playing the blame game. Don't blame the blame game. Stop making excuses because again, you have that control. So she kind of went in through like how we can fix this or change this mindset when it comes up. And that's something you might have to do every single day. Or this is something that maybe you do weekly, depending on, you. So when your mindset is bad, how can we change the framework from unmotivated down? Something bad happened to you. You got in an argument with your spouse, whatever. Someone told you no, I don't know, whatever it is. So our circumstances lead to our thoughts. Our thoughts then go to our feelings. Our feelings dictate our actions and our actions create our results. Like I was like mind blown there. It's so true, right? And that's essentially the sequence. So if you're having an unmotivated day, which a lot of days you're not going to be motivated, you're down, or you're just like, I don't feel like working my business, right? I don't feel like doing it. We need to make the shift in our mindset so that we don't just waste the day and do nothing, right? We still do the things anyways. So make the shift. So instead of being scared about what's going on, I'm going to be the one that finds new opportunity. So shift your mindset to this. So this was just the example, but for example, you have some sort of negative thought. You can replace that negative thought with, oh my gosh, people need money right now more than ever. True. oh my gosh, I have a gift. You literally have a gift for people. Oh my gosh, I have something that can help people. Now your thoughts are moving in a more positive direction. So maybe make a list of those positive thoughts that when you have that negative thought, you can replace that thought with. And now your feelings are positive. I'm passionate about what we have here. Everyone needs to know about Bravenly. I need to get in everyone. I need to talk to everybody. These feelings can create a different type of action. So now maybe you went from down, unmotivated to now back positive, somewhat motivated, right? And now you're back on fire. So doing the actions to show up consistently to get the results is going to give you the massive momentum that you want. So with that, that's been like a huge shift, right? Is we can't control anything else other than what we do. And once you continue to create those habits, you're going to do it day in and day out, whether you want to or not, because we're always going to have, negative things come our way. So I just thought that was super helpful and wanted to share with you guys.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love that. It's so true. Like, we don't always wake up motivated. The reality is, yeah, we're going to go to conference. We're going to be all pumped up. We're going to be excited. But the truth is that everyday life gets in the way, right? Or, we can look at like, oh, the economy or this or that. And we can spin, like, what did you say, Glenn, that we have miracles in our mouths? I mean, like, what we can speak over our lives, over our business is so very, very powerful. It's funny because, like, you can have one negative comment. I had a negative, it was not even someone on our team, but it was like a message that was kind of negative. And I was like, why do I feel heavy? Why do I feel heavy? And it was like that conversation with that person had kind of put me in this weird funk. And then like 2 hours later, the very same topic that they were complaining about, we had a doctor join the team who loved that particular product. And that's why the doctor came in, because of what the ingredients were, how it tasted, all that. Doctor was obsessed with the product. Doctor joined. The person who I talked to earlier that was complaining about it. And then all of a sudden I switched. I was like, totally on fire. And it was like, we have to be able to control what's right here. What Cass was saying, we have to be able to spin that. So it's like same product, same thing. One person whose credibility really wasn't there was like, yeah, I don't like that. The next person, who was literally a doctor, was singing its praises. I'm like, I can't allow my mind to be so easily shifted by the circumstances around me. Okay. And that's, I think, what Cass is talking about is like, we get to take ownership of our business. We get to take ownership of our mindset. The dialogue gets to be like ours, right? It gets to be ours. And so I love everything that you said, Cass. I feel like if we could all grab onto that and get a little bit more like, realize we actually have the control over our emotions in our business, and those outside, obviously the good news, grab it in, but you got someone who's negative and in your inbox, like, it's one of those things where it's like, we can tune that out, right? Or if we're not feeling motivated, we can decide, we can make a choice to say like, oh my gosh, we have a gift, right? And to focus on that. So that is huge. In fact, is the summit something that people can jump in for free? And if so, would you mind posting that in the chat so that people have access to that? Because it sounds amazing.
Yeah, I just real quick. So day one was yesterday. If you just want access to the free 5 days, you're going to miss out on day one. If you want the recording, then you have to get the recording from yesterday. But the recordings are up for 24 hours. So I'll just send the group. I think you just have to get access to the group just because it's free. So I'll just put it in the group chat for anyone that wants it.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we were talking a little bit about different ways to reach people, right? And how like a lot of us social media, but there's a whole another world out there, ways to build. And I know that Glenn this last week, he just did an event. And so I would love it. Glenn, would you share with us a little bit about that, how it went, but then also how it made you feel? Like how do you feel doing these events?
Yeah, so I think since COVID hit about 2 years ago, like we've definitely gotten away from in-person events, from being around people, from loving on people, seeing everybody's pretty smiley faces. Like, honestly, I've seen so many nowhere marketing companies, people are jumping around like it's nobody's business. It's all done online. Like, nobody hangs out with each other anymore. All we do is hop on Zooms and look at each other through like a lens everybody's got their camera turned off. So to like actually get to that in-person event was awesome. So, and I'll just rewind back to when I was in Advocare, my first 7 years. Now we did way too many in-person events. Now there is like boundaries you should set. Don't let it take away from your family, but I do think it needs to happen. But man, these 80%ers, like nobody ever left Advocare, no matter what happened. Like we were all going to stay there for life because we hung out together. We had fun together. We did life together. We motivate each other. We let the 80%er get up and speak in front of people, and they just felt like they're a part of a huge community. So when I did that, so I got to speak on Saturday in Southeast Texas. There's only about 10 people there, but it was awesome. So I spoke, and then actually one guy came in as I finished speaking already. So I had to go through the whole presentation like all over again. But it actually was, I thought it was pretty cool because I put like a new spin on it. But anyways, like just being up there and speaking and like looking at people in the eyeballs and watching the reactions to what I was saying and seeing them smile, like I knew I was motivating them, I was inspiring them. But then when I would say something that resonated, like they would get up and speak and they would share. And we even went out to eat and ate dinner afterwards and at the table and just talked small talk about Braveling and about life and stuff like that. I think honestly, if we want to get our business to the next level, I'm not saying you need to do sipping socials all the time. I'm not saying like you need to always be sampling anybody within 5 feet of you. But if we want to get to the next level and keep people in our business, we got to hang out with each other. We got to do this stuff a little more in person. So, I mean, I have Andrew De La Rosa on my team. His team is blowing up. I already talked to him about flying to Idaho. Like you can get, through Southwest, like I'm building up points. I can get free flights to be able to go to these places. But if you want to keep people close to you and not have to change your team out like every 6 to 12 months, I encourage you guys to start hanging out with your people. But that's why convention's so important. I know a lot of you can't go for financial reasons, but if, Cassandra's talking about, staying around the fire and like not letting your fire burn out. If you guys want to get around the fire, like you got to get to convention, because if not, when's the next one? September? And then maybe you don't get to go to that one. I just hate seeing people coming in and out of our business. But honestly, I believe it's these personal relationships. But everybody that came to that event on Saturday is at a minimum buying the Fab Five bundle, and they're going to work on getting results and then switch over to becoming a brand partner. I just think we could get so many more recruits, so many more sales if we would face our fear and talk to people in person and quit hiding behind the computer screen. Even talking to people, I talked to a lady in the gym today, like I need to quit I moved to this town like 4 years ago and I don't know anybody. I need to start talking to people and getting people in person. I feel like we can keep them around the fire a little bit longer.
I love that. It's about building culture, right? It's about building that community. And yes, I mean, convention, I think we only do one a year. So really it's February and then there's not another one until February. I think there's going to be some other things and maybe some local events. First off though, if you can't make it, like guys, no guilt. I'm just going to put that out there. We will never shame anyone who can't come to conference. I need to just but if you can make it happen, like be there, because one thing that you're going to see when you come into conference and you start to hang out and we build these relationships is you're going to actually have that next layer of trust. Because I think a lot of times when we are behind a screen, right, we're like, okay, I think that they're good, but it's not until you're like face to face with them, when you're hanging out, when you're, having dinner together, you're breaking bread, right, that you're like, okay, this is a really good person. These are good people. I feel like I can bring my friends into this, my network into this, and that for me, especially any of you have some PTSD from the industry, I'm like, I need to know I'm aligning with people I can trust, they're good. And so that's really important for me. So, I think convention's huge, but, you can do that on a smaller level in your own community. You can build those relationships. Glenn, like I've lived in my community for 10 years and my husband was joking with me. He's like, you're terrible at making friends that are local. You got friends all over the world, but local, you're terrible at it. And that's actually one of my goals this year. I was like, how fun would it be to actually be able to work alongside a team and do our little vision board, get together and do that together, have people into your home, have fun with people locally, I think would be really cool. So that's one of my goals for this year is to make friends in my own community, I'm going to need you guys to walk through it. So you guys are going to have to hold my hand through the process because it's hard. But anyway, all that to say, Glenn, I love that you did that. I love that you shared that. If that's not your wheelhouse, you guys don't feel like you need to go like start an event at Denny's, like, and open, like that's okay. But at the same time, you guys, like if you're feeling like you want that community and, there's a lot of power in that.
Yeah. So I got a PowerPoint from Garrett McGrath, and I can give it to you guys. Like I like that one a lot better than the one on the Meet Bravenly. And it was super easy to just like, I had a laptop set up and then it was on the projector. So I could kind of, if I forgot something, I could like look on the laptop, but it was only like 8 slides long. Like honestly, anybody could do this. Like you could easily read and do it, but it's just talking to people before the event and after, and like build those relationships. And again, like, now we have like stick packs, like you can put those in your gym bag when you're talking to somebody at the gym, be sampling people at the gym. Those are little things that I used to do that I haven't done since COVID. I need to get back to like what I used to do. Like I would sign up 10 to 20 people every month. Now, I'm not saying you need to like talk to people in person at the gym or wherever, but I wasn't scared to talk to anybody. Everybody who sat by me on an airplane got one of my products. Like everybody, like every hotel receptionist that I've ever been to got a product, and I've signed up probably 10 of them. Like one time I challenged myself. I drove across 6 state lines. I got out of the car at every welcome center, walked around the welcome center and started up random conversations, gave a spark to them from my previous company and signed up 2 out of the 6 people, added them on social media. Like we need to get back to in-person stuff. Look at people eyeball to eyeball. I think it's going to be a little bit easy. Those are the people that's going to stick in your business and not hop around from company to company.
Love that, Glenn. Thank you for sharing. I actually, we have a guy coming in who I think is going to build like that. So I might be messaging you and seeing if you can share some of that with him, because he definitely will be building like that. And that's another thing, you guys. Yeah, that's why he's going to reach all the unicorn ranks. I know. I'm just going to say some of what he's saying is giving me massive anxiety. I'm like, oh, But the truth is everybody's wired different, and the way that you build, and that's why he's, builds such an incredible organization, is because he's willing to do the things that some of us won't. Being real. I love that, but I'm really proud of you, friend. And I love that you did the event. Stacey mentioned keeping track of who you sample. I think that's really important. Yes. And Stacey also mentioned something, maybe I said this earlier. She said, be strategic. Be strategic. Like, we're not just like, who wants something for free? Because you know how many girls I know on Facebook will be like, yes, I'll have something for free, when they've already gotten 5 free samples from other people of the same product. They just don't do that. Like, don't do that. And I know that Siobhan, she actually charges for samples. If I have somebody local, if I have a prospect, I'm giving them samples. But if I feel like people, hey, can I try that? And I was like, yeah, it's going to cost you. We'll see how bad you really want the sample. Obviously do it with more tact than that, right? But you guys, we have just a few more minutes. Does anyone have anything that they want to ask any of these incredible people? Or do you have any comments that's working for you? We'd love to hear from you guys. So, all right. Well,
I'm just going to share one thing real quick, since nobody else will speak up.
Yeah, please do.
Today, me and Siobhan at 5:30 Central Time, we're going to do like a dual Facebook Live interview about why Bravenly is a unicorn company. And so I used to do that when I was in Madeira a long time ago, and it worked really, really good at building an audience. And every new brand partner that I brought on board, they would interview me and I would share. And because a lot of people think I can't go live, like I can't be the expert. And so they would write down like 3 questions and ask me the questions. So if anybody would like to go live with me in the future, Crossline or anybody, I would like to do that with you guys. And, because you're talking about earlier, like what can we do to stand out as a company and as a team? I don't really see those interviews anymore. I mean, I see Kristen going live all the time, which is awesome, but I think that's something that we could do, is start doing that again. If anybody wants to do that with me, let me know.
I love that. Let's see, Diana just asked a question. And I think that's great, Glenn. I think that the live's really powerful.
I'm going to add to that really quick. Donna and I, because apparently Donna and I are obsessed with each other. We talk all the time. We were like talking, and she had this long post idea that was typed up that she was like, what do you think about this? And kind of like what Glenn was saying, I was just like, I feel like you're going to relay this message way better if you just go live. And then she did. She went live yesterday on the topic. And then she was messaging like, oh my gosh, did you see who was looking at it and commenting on it? Like it got so much traction. So I think some of those long posts that you like, oh, I can't wait to get this out there, like changing it into a good live and then pinning it at the top of your page so that it's always there that people can look at. It's a good way for people to hear who you are in your heart that way.
I love that. And I stopped going live a lot because I felt like I wasn't getting any traction. There wasn't a lot of people. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I used to have hundreds watching. I have 24, you know what I mean? Or 3, but here's the thing is that 1, it's going to show it to the right people. If they see it, how powerful is that? 2, say you were to throw an event and you say, like, you go back and you look, I'm like, okay, 80 people viewed it. If you threw an event and 80 people showed up in the room, you'd be like, dang. And it's the same thing. If you've got 80 people watching your live, right? That's a huge audience. You have to look at it that way. And I had one that I did during the live, people weren't really watching. I was like, do I delete this? I don't know. It's still at the top of my page as my pinned post because it's been shared. There's over 3,000 views. I think maybe I'm making numbers up. Don't judge me if I'm wrong, but I think it has like 3,000 views. And the truth is that has been one of my most powerful recruiting tools. And as soon as I'm out of prison, as far as not being able to share about Bravenly on my Facebook, I'm going to go do another one because I know how powerful it is that we can share a voice that way. So thank you for bringing that up. You guys go live. Don't look at your numbers. Do not look at like how many people like it, because the thing is that people are watching you. I promise. So, all right, you guys. So I'm getting ready to pop off and I'm going to go over into Bravenly Insiders and I'm going to talk about how freaking amazing our products are and why we have such a huge flex with these. So anyway, go ahead and pop on over there and say, hey, I love you guys and we will see you next week.